What's going on? PW Beast! So Nobody 2. I'm just going to get straight to the point because the algorithm shows that you guys only watch me for a good old 12 to 15 seconds. So this movie was a big conglomerate snorefest. That's how I feel. I feel like it was a big snorefest. Now, I had a hard time rating this movie because there were times where it got okay to good. And then there's times where I'm like, what if I just stopped this whole YouTube career? Because, let's get into it. I've run a lot, right? This is one of my first, real, let me go see the movie, come back, do the review in a while. So I forgot some things. Some things I've forgotten is I probably should have watched the first movie, yesterday, just so I can get a good reminder. The problem I have with this movie is if you don't watch the other movie first, you're gonna be. I was kind of lost. I was like, okay, the kid. I can't remember why did the son not like him? I didn't know if the wife knew. I can't remember if the wife knew or not. I was lost a little bit, and I was slowly picking it back up. Right, so I don't all times like when the movies do little recaps. So I'm glad I didn't do that. But at the same time, I was lost. Should have watched the first movie, not too long ago. Another thing is the first movie was a surprise, right? I keep drawing John Wick comparisons to this movie. And it's the same thing like John Wick. The first movie was like, okay, I saw it, I watched it at home, not bad. It was a surprise. I thought it was stupid. Initially I thought it was stupid because it was taking John Wick's stuff, his thing, right? But I watched it, it wasn't bad. It was a little different than John Wick, but ultimately I didn't mind it, right? Now, this movie, what I'm about to say is going to be a hot take. I got it. I'm going to say what things threw me off about this movie first, and I'm going to say what I liked about it. What threw me off the most is the unrealistic nature of the movie. Now, I get it, it's a movie. So, if someone comments, hey, you should shut up, it's a movie. I'm like, I got it. But still, it threw me off, just me at least. It threw me off when he was able to rip random things off the wall. So, I have put cables on walls, right? And on those little, I don't know the nomenclature to it, but those little random wired cables, they're not as easy. You can't just rip it off the wall, especially for a guy like him who's in his 60s. So the fact that he just grabbed it and ripped it out of the socket, electrical socket, is just crazy to me. The fact that he was just ripping things off just because the plot needed him to rip things off because he needed a weapon, it was crazy to me. When he is in an elevator and there's a whole bunch of people around and he's somehow winning this fight, I don't agree with it, right? So, and then you can say, okay, well, how come John Wick, right? John Wick has some unrealistic things, like he's falling down steps, he's getting hit by a car, he's falling off a building. I got it, right? We get that stuff. But I feel like John Wick didn't go into situations where it was completely unrealistic, right? And I feel like this guy did. He's going in, this guy got a whole bunch of Uzis, and somehow he's dodging bullets like that. Once again, I get how silly it sounds, me liking the John Wick movies, and this one being kind of a snorefest, but it's just, I feel like John Wick has some sense of realisticness outside of his stupid suit being bulletproof. So that threw me off a lot, right? What threw me off another is the going back and forth with the family and to the work. Threw me off a little bit. And it just got boring when they were doing the whole family thing. I'm like, what am I watching? Am I watching an action movie? I'm watching a family movie. I get they're trying to build it up. I completely understand it. For whatever reason, it just didn't work for me. So, and then going into the things I hate the most was the bad guy. The girl was terrible. And I'm going to use a phrase a lot of people use, but girl bosses, man, crazy work. This girl was so bad. Like, everything she said was like, I thought, like if it was like on a freaking next episode of Spidey and His Amazing Friends. Like, she was saying these weird, and now I'm going to hurt you more than I've ever hurt you. I'm bored with him, and you girls take him. It was just so stupid. The way she's dancing like a lunatic, it doesn't work. I don't know. That was crazy. What was she thinking? It would have been best if she was just a serious person. When her character came on scene and she was doing the casino thing, I'm like, okay, I bought it. I'm like, I know she was the main bad guy, but okay, she could have been stoic a little bit with a little bit of craziness and it would work. But she went full, I don't want to say the R word, but she went full craziness. Anyways, did not like her at all whatsoever. I also didn't like the fact that this man in this movie have taken out 4 to 5 big, fat, boldy, big dudes, right, on this boat, with the odds being ridiculous. But the 2 girls at the end beat him up with batons and grabbed him and beat him up, like beat this mastermind up. This dude's whipping everybody's butt. But the 2 girls that weighs more, my coffee table weighs more than them, somehow was able to beat them up with batons. Crazy. Threw me off. Threw me out. You know? So, like I said, you gotta manage like that realistic. I get it. Like, let's say Fast and Furious, right? That's a completely unrealistic movie, but it does it in a way of like, you know. But still, like, that's just like that. If I'm in the majority, that's totally fine. I'm always up. I'm always the majority. In whatever. Some things I liked about the movie. The wife. I like the wife dynamic because I am married, and I know that there's times where I'm either working too much, working out too much, watching the game too much, and she wants to say something to me, but she says, "No, I'm gonna protect his peace, protect my peace, and I'm just gonna just hold it down, even though I'm suffering." I don't know. I just like that whole aspect of the wife. She had her dude's back. She was upset, but then when he tried to show that he was getting better and trying to do things better, she accepted it. She didn't go back and just nagged him to death. The wife was great, right? The wife, until the end, which didn't make any sense. But even when she realized that he was working during the family vacation, she said, "You know what? Deal with it." It gave him some peace and calm. Like, I didn't want this to happen. But so as a husband and a father, I kind of do appreciate that. I think that's part of why I liked it a little bit more. So that the wife did, I really did like the wife, right? The kids did a great job, even though the little girl really was useless. But yeah, I don't mind the kids. I just wish they was used more. All right. There's also some characters that were just not useless. I get I'm gonna say Mexican because I can't think of his name, but the Mexican boss who did a fantastic job in this whole movie. His son was kind of useless. I get it. It was just there for him to start the fight, be a bully, then he's playing catch with his son, and they take his son. I just wish the son had more something to do. He didn't do anything. So, and then they called his friend, who was a black ninja samurai guy. Didn't need him. I get it, he protect the house, but you could have had the wife protect the house. That would have been better if she did something to protect the house, right? I also loved. This movie was a back and forth for me. It's always like it was boring, and then okay, I like that idea, then it got boring. Okay, we're picking up. But the thing that I like the most is when I start seeing them do the freaking Home Alone booby trap areas, I was like, yep, I'm sold. I like it, right? I love these type of booby trap areas. We got the whole theme park to making a booby trap to beat a whole bunch of bad guys up. I was down for it. And I like that whole aspect. I like the whole area. I like the mirrored scene. Boom. Right? So the movie to me as a whole wasn't terrible, right? It was just boring for most parts. The bad guy was stupid. I feel like you could have taken her completely out of the story and just left it with the Mexican bad guy, and then maybe he had a change of heart, but the sheriff wanted to go rogue. That would have been totally fine, but I feel like they just had to throw in this girl boss. For what reason? Why was she there? So, anyways, guys, if hopefully you've already seen this movie because you're watching the spoiler review. If you haven't seen it, man, just wait. Wait until you're able to sit on your couch, watch the movie, get up, use the bathroom, and come back to it so you don't have to be forced to just sit there in a dark room. That's my thoughts. What do you think? Also, I started a new Instagram. I'm going to link it down here if I can. I don't know how to do it, but follow the Instagram. It's going to be all comic book related, all my movie experiences, about me going to the movies, what I think, a whole bunch of stuff. Right? So if you like it, you want to support it, perfect. PW!